Hello and welcome to Tuesday training. Today we're coming from inside the Can Do Equine online training system, of course, because we always do on Tuesdays, and it's great to have you here. I want to talk today about the canter transition and just generally getting the canter. Oh dear, I'm sorry, I'm sitting in my sitting room. I'm looking out the window and there's this huge snake, which the dog has just noticed. So I might just try and grab the dog. Lucky, come here. That's it. There's this snake watching us from outside the window. He's just seen it. Anyway, back to the Tuesday training. I had a lovely video, two videos actually, from somebody in the UK the other day. This is a really nice girl that I used to teach a lot when I was in the UK, and her darling mother sent me these emails of her riding her new horse, and she said, can you just tell me where you think she's going wrong and what she needs to do? And so I had a look, and the first video was in trot, and it was actually really beautiful, and the horse was going really well. And I'm sorry about that. Becky, come here. The horse was going really well, and I thought, oh, well, that's fantastic. I don't think she's got a problem at all. And then the next video was of canter. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay. We lost everything. So we've gone from a nice, round, soft horse that was obviously enjoying what it was doing and really in the engagement zone and in her bubble of communication. And then as soon as she asked for the canter transition, the head went up in the air and the horse just broke the bubble and hollowed its back, and the picture was quite different. So I'm going to walk you through what I suggested they do. So if you come along to candoequine.com as usual and click on my library, this is going to take, obviously you need to be a member to do this. This is going to take you into your library. Now you're going to have to bear with me a bit today because, my internet is so bad, but anyway, we'll get there. So it's a bit slow, so I'm sorry about that. Here we are. Click on the horse training course because that's where we're going to go. Now, the big problem with this horse was the fact that it was going out of the engagement zone. So she had the horse nice and round when she was in trot, and then canter just all got a bit much for the horse. The head went up, the bubble of communication was burst, and the horse was no longer in the engagement zone, no longer soft and listening and in that nice place to learn. So the lessons I would start with would be the engagement zone. I'll just go straight into that module. These are just quick lessons just to run through to show you how to assess your horse's emotional level and how to raise and lower it. Because we often think that, especially if we're riding an excited horse, we often think, oh, I just need to lower its emotional level. But the problem is it's impossible just to lower it. What we need to be able to do is we need to learn how to manipulate the horse's emotional level. And that requires raising it in order to then offer the horse an opportunity to relax a little bit more and calm down and therefore lower its emotional level. But we can't just walk up to the horse that's already excited and say, hey, you want to calm down, you want to relax. We have to actually engage the horse with learning, which requires us to increase its emotional level a little bit before we raise it. Now, these short exercises give you an idea of how to assess your own horse's emotional level and how to raise and lower it. So they're going to be really helpful as a starting point. And I would recommend anyone that, whatever it is you're doing, when you first come in and join the online training, I would go straight to that course first. The next thing we want is the give to the bit lessons. Now, the problem with this horse wasn't the trot work. What was happening was it was coming out of that nice, soft, relaxed frame as soon as it went into canter. And so that tells us that it isn't an automatic response yet for the horse to be in a nice, soft frame and travel in that way in each of the different gaits. So that's a problem. We need to start with this give to the bit work. So you work your way through each of these lessons. There's a 1 hour full length lesson right at the beginning there, that give to the bit full length lesson, that will show you everything. These next lessons, I think it goes 1 through 9 shorter lessons, they concentrate on the things that people have the most problem with. So the older horse, where exactly you should stand, where exactly you want the horse's head, and that sort of thing. So very important. And then there's a summary, and we have a little chat about bits as well. So that's your next course. Straight after you've organized the engagement zone module, go straight into give to the bit and get that softness. For me, give to the bit is where I get relaxation. A lot of people look at it and see the horse is traveling in, what they might think is a dressage frame, but it really has nothing to do with the frame. It's all about getting the horse relaxed and into the engagement zone where it's learning and it's engaged with me as a trainer. So now from there, it's up to you where you go then. But basically, we want to start taking control of the feet. So I would move quite quickly to shoulder control, although I think in this particular instance, the horse already has some shoulder control. So given that the problem we're discussing today is that the horse is losing frame and control and so forth in the canter, I would go to long reining next. Now, the beauty of long reining is that the horse can learn all of these transitions without having the added confusion or possible unintended cues of the rider. And so you can practice all of your trot to canter transitions, even your walk to canter transitions and the canter itself without having to cue the horse with anything other than a verbal cue. So this is where I always teach a nice verbal cue for canter, which I use as a kiss, a sound like that, because I use clucking for trot. So for me, 1 cluck means walk, so I like that. And then 2 clucks means trot, so like that. And a kiss, I keep that for canter. So whenever the horse hears that noise, that sound, it knows that means canter. Now, if I can teach that on the ground here with long reining, then I don't need to use very much leg at all when I'm on the horse, because the horse already knows the cue to canter and it's a verbal cue. So I get that as an automatic response before I even get on the horse. Now, the beauty of long reining is that you can see the horse and you can see its frame, and you can also feel what the horse is doing. So is the horse leaning on the bit? I can see the horse is round. Is he heavy in the hand? If so, I can correct that before I have to get on the horse, because I want him light in the bridle and in self-carriage. So this is where I would definitely go next with this horse that's having the canter problems, would be to long reining. I go back to courses. You'll see I've got a course on short reining after long reining. Now, that's a great little module for horses that are just getting started on saddle or have been on a break or something, but it's not terribly useful for canter unless you run very fast. So let's go to the next page, because I do have a special module here just on the canter itself. Let's see, here it is here. Okay, so this is the next thing I would do if the horse is having any problems. The horse, to me, didn't look to be having any canter problems. You'll see here I discussed the main 4 problems here, which is firstly picking up lead or picking up the wrong lead, or horses that bark or kick out, horses that fall out of gait, so you get 3 strides of canter and then they drop back to trot, and the horses that rush into canter, so that terrible fast trot that's impossible to sit. Now, this horse that we're talking about today didn't have any of those problems, so I'm not too concerned about that. But it's a useful module to look at if it's the canter you're working on. So do go there. I'm just going to come back and just remind you of those courses that I wanted you to do and the order in which I wanted you to do them. So with all the Can Do Equine training, you can just come in and work your way from the welcome video all the way through right to the end. And that is the best way of doing it. But you can also come in and pick and choose things. If you haven't done the engagement zone module, it's quick, it's a little bit different from most of the modules, but it will give you a great starting place to start assessing your horse's emotional level. You get the emotional level right in training, you're 90% of the way there. Then I suggested she went to give to the bit, because we need that relaxation. What's happening when the horse throws its head up and hollows its back in the canter is we're losing relaxation. The horse is getting tense. And there's no reason for the horse to travel in a different frame in walk, trot, and then canter. There's no reason for the canter to be different other than you're losing that relaxation and you're breaking that bubble of communication. So we need to bring the horse back into softness and self-carriage and get the horse to relax again. So that would be the next place I would go. Then I suggested long reining, because I think that's easier for the horse to practice this self-carriage and maintaining relaxation and nice soft frame without having to carry the rider. So let's make sure I use long reining with all my horses, because I like to see it from the ground, and I stand in the middle, I get all the transitions, I make sure that the horse is in self-carriage, is soft and is in the engagement zone before I get on, because I know that if I can't get this, if I can't get these things when the horse is on the long lines, I'm not interested in trying to ride it, because it's much easier for the horse to learn it when I'm not on its back. So that's really important to me. So I would, and then I suggested she went over the, had a look at the canter as soon as my internet wakes up. Just sing. All right. Well, that